Okay, hello. All right, hello. Okay, all right, okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome to the stream. Oh, goodness. Hello, hi. Hello, everyone. You again. Yeah, I'm sorry, Oz. You have to deal with me. Hello. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Today, what we are going to be doing, like the stream title says, is we are going to be doing traditional art versus digital art. We're actually going to be starting with traditional because it is a little bit easier to do a traditional setup, or to start with the traditional setup and then move to the digital one. By comparison to starting with the digital one, just because like the digital's faster, but like it's easier to do the traditional setup first and then like actually get to the digital. But before we do any of that, we are going to be doing a bit of a showcase for the submissions on the Discord. I've decided to limit it to like 6 pieces per week. So like I'll pick my like favorite 6, or like I'll pick 6 that I want to talk about or show off, and then we can move on from there. But before we get started, oh, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to pick up my script. Hang on. There we are. Yes, because if you did not know, our growing community is filled with tons of art nerds, and we art nerds have to stick together. So if you're an art nerd too, be sure to check out the links to our social media in the description below, and check out our website for our class offerings, where you can get critique, guidance, and encouragement from our instructors, because we're not just a YouTube channel, we are an art school too. So if you'd like to support us so we can keep making free content, consider supporting us on Patreon for as little as $5 a month, where you can get access to tons of perks like some working files and a huge discount on classes and class recordings. And some of these spots have a limited amount of spots, so be sure to check those out before they are gone. All right. But yes, we're gonna start off by talking about showing off some of the art that was in the server. I thought it was really funny when the class showed up. Hang on, when this showed up and the Wing Canvas logo was left in the middle right here. That's kind of funny. Well, we're gonna show off some of the work that was submitted in the Discord, because I saw some really cool stuff this week. This one is from Aiden. I'm a really big fan of really simple, as much as I love my line weighting, I'm a really big fan of like non-line weighted work. I think no line weighting is just a really fun like style that I'd love to get better at. But I don't do it a lot just because I love my line weighting too much. But I really, really love this look. I love the simple palette. It's a really, really cool style. This one is from Cadeward in the Discord. It's just so cute. I love the energy that's in this one. There's a lot of bright colors, a lot of fun little, I love the magic being done coming out of the hand right there. It's a very simple kind of Adventure Time-ish style. I think it's cute. I like the pixely aspect of the brush as well, where it's less smooth, a little bit more rudimentary. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan. This one I really love the atmosphere of, by Opal on the Discord. I love the atmosphere of this. I love the colors. I love how muted and gemstone-like they are. Very earthy. That's the word I was looking for. Very like earthy jewel tones, and I'm a really big fan of that. I love how nicely they're all kind of mixed in, how much mood and energy is in this one, and I think that that's really, really fun. And this one by Rose. I'm sorry that the slideshow is like so like scuffed. It's just like Windows. It's like the Windows picture viewer. I'll do a better one day, I promise. I love this character design. I love this character design. I love that I love the addition of the ears. I love the like the yellow balanced against the darker skin tone. That's always, I'm a really big fan of like really light clothing and light hair against like a deeper skin tone. I really think it works really well. I'll always love bounce light. Bounce light is super fun, and I do like the effect of having the glow slightly around this character to make them stick out against the background a bit more. And this one by Snarver on the Discord. I love this pose. This pose with the pupper is really, really fun. It's really natural bend to the back here, and really fun way to draw paws. I love the snout as well. Really, really well done. I love these little like these little flames around the person. That I know that they're supposed to be like wisps around them, and I think it's really cute. Oh, sorry. This one by Zipporah, I think this is the last one. This is a beautiful render. Oh my god. The bounce light in the hair of Aether's hair, and then the bounce light in Lumine's hair. I know this is Genshin fan art. But I was just like, I saw the rendering and I was like, wow, 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 wow. I love this one. The like muted colors. I really love the way that you, at this person's, like they've added in like there's clearly like an overlay, or like a very like a harsh screen layer or something on top of it that gives everything like a pale bluish glow, but it still keeps the integrity of the colors in there. Like you can still tell the difference between each color. It's not like anything's washed out, but instead it gives it atmosphere, and that's really, really nice. I'm a really big fan of that. Like the blue and the shadows and the blue and the I love blue. I love working with blue. But yes, excellent work, everyone. Excellent job. Thank you so much for submitting. I'm a really big fan of your work. I love seeing your work. So be sure to submit on the Discord when you can. Yes, I have a Kirby cursor. OBS can't pick it up when it walks, but he's there. But thank you so much for submitting on the Discord again. I always love seeing your work whenever you submit it. So thank you so much for submitting. But yes, so yeah, don't worry about this. I like I don't work traditionally very often, so like I had to pull up like my old like some old paper that I had kind of lying around, and like I found some like watercolor paper, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just pull out one of these sheets from the watercolor pad that I have," and I realized that like there was gouache still on one side, and I'm like, I'm still going to use it. I don't care. So we're going to flip it over. Don't worry. The other side is perfectly fine. Oh, there's still some. Oh no, we're good. We're fine. You like my mouse pad? I have a giant desk pad that's just Kirby's. Little avatar has cow ears. Yeah, it has cow ears because I have cow ears on my. I have cow ears on my my headset. Oh, I was gonna try and show me, but I only have one camera, so I guess you can't see me right now. Here, you know what? Here. So you can see my headset has cow ears on it. So like, you can see it there. I apologize if I start to hit the, if I hit the camera with my, what's it called, with my headset at any point. But if you took part in the YouTube poll this week, what was voted upon was to draw somebody sleepy. I am gonna work in like a really chibi-esque style just because it's a lot faster by comparison to working in like a full-bodied style. I debated on drawing Corn, and I was like, I could have, but I think I'm going to draw a different D&D character of mine. Just because Corn might be a bit tough to do traditionally, just because I don't have a lot of dark grays that would work for him. So I think I'm going to go with my boy Kingsley. You're learning how to draw with color, with ink and alcohol markers. You're in luck, my friend. I'm working with Copics today, so we're going to be... Copic markers and alcohol markers are my favorite medium, so I will be working with that today. So I guess you can see how that's going to go. Let me, like, pop out the chat, just so then, like, I don't lose anything. I can smell the Copics from here. No, I actually got the Copic, Actually, I guess I don't need to pop out the chat. I can just keep it in there. The Copic, I got the Copic Chows, so they're like a little bit less scented, and I way prefer that by comparison to like the normal Copics. I don't work traditionally enough. I've forgotten how to draw on paper, for real. For gore, true. Yeah, no, the Copic Chows are a little bit different than the natural Copics, because the Chows have low scent. Because I cannot stand the smell of alcohol markers. So I got the Chows to make sure that they are not too crazy on the alcohol scent. Because I hate the smell of like Sharpies. I know some people love the smell of Sharpies. I can't stand it. So I'd rather have low scent markers, so my Copics are low scent. They still have a scent, but it's not too crazy. You love the smell of Copics, Daria? You love the smell of alcohol markers? That's so funny. I know that some people love that smell. Like, I can't stand it. It like, hurts my brain. Oh yeah, traditional coloring for sure gets expensive. It would, like, so the Copics that I pulled out, like this little pack of them, this isn't all my Copics. This isn't even a quarter of them. My Copics are in a giant case. You can barely see it, but it's in a giant case that looks like this, and it's like a lot of, and like it's all completely filled to the brim. There's 80 pockets in here, so it's like it's a collection that I've built up over the years of just a crazy amount of Copic markers. I just really love working with. Digital's a lot easier for me too. I just like I think it's important to learn both. Like if you know one, then you'll automatically get better at the other. is what I've learned. Because you can take techniques from both. Like, my digital painting techniques are very, very, very traditional. Like, the way that I digitally paint is super traditional. Like, I have a very, traditional painter's style of digital painting. By comparison, my lined traditional work is very digital. Hang on, I need to, like... Okay. I don't have a... I'm not working on it, because usually I work on an architect's desk whenever I illustrate traditionally, so drawing, like, traditionally on a flat desk is super weird for me. Attending an art school next week after taking a gap year. Oh, good luck. I took a gap year 2 years ago. I took a gap year 2 years ago when I was switching programs. I went from game art to illustration. So I'm about to enter my second year of illustration once the fall hits. I've decided to draw my character Kingsley. I can't, because I'm like, I've been drawing Corn so much, I'm like, I kind of want to give my other boy love. My other boys. Did I learn to draw traditionally or digitally first? Traditionally. I learned to draw... I grew up with traditional work. And now I mostly work digitally, just because it's more efficient, just a little bit quicker. What about Grayson? Good question. I don't know. I've been, like, drawing my D&D characters more than I've been drawing Grayson and friends. I debated on drawing Sunny in as in one of their other forms, but I'm like, oh, I'll go with the full monster form. Why not? I've never drawn that in a chibi way. One day I'll play as Kingsley. What app do I recommend? There's a lot of different applications you could use. Like, I'm a really big fan of Clip Studio. I'm a really big fan of Photoshop. Those are like the big boy programs. There's free ones like Medibang, which are pretty good. A lot of people recommend Krita. I personally think that Krita is one that you should learn after you learn another program, not one that you start with. But it's up to you, really. Yeah, it's like I could have done Sunny in a different way, but I've decided not to. All I have is a Chromebook. Apparently I think Medibang works on a Chromebook, if I remember correctly. If not, then Fire Alpaca, I think, works on a Chromebook. And Fire Alpaca is basically just like Medibang, but easier. So what I'm doing right now is I'm doing a second pass of penciling. You don't have to do this, but I like to have a second pass of penciling. It's just to clean up everything and make it easier for me when I line. You're gonna see this page move a lot, so I apologize if it gets kind of wacky out of frame a little bit. Kingsley looks so cute. Thank you. My boy's a warlock. He's a warlock of a great old one. Kingsley's stats are actually pretty good. Like, I remember I rolled for him. He was my first character I ever rolled for. And I rolled for his stats, and a bunch of my friends were in call, and they were like, yo! My boy's got 316s. And he has nothing under an 11, so it's like... I think he's got, like, 2 11s, a 14, and 3 16s. Something like that. His stats are pretty intense. Or it's like 2 16s and a 15 and a 14. It's like they're very, like, they're pretty high. How old is Kingsley? He's 31. Haven't seen this guy before. Yeah, no, I haven't really talked about Kingsley much. I'm a really big fan of... Kingsley was my first D&D character. I still haven't really, like, played as him, but he's the first one that I've properly built out. Corn is my first D&D character that I've played as. Kingsley is this 31-year-old guy. He's a warlock. He's married to his patron. Because I thought that would have been funny. Does he have a backstory? Yeah. He's married to his patron, who he accidentally summoned when he was in his early 20s. His whole story, his whole plot line is like if you know me well enough, one of my favorite genres to write is romance. So like his whole plot line is very much like a romance story, or his whole backstory is very much like a romance story, where it's a very slow burn. His patron is this like, he's a warlock of a great old one. So like he summons this like great old like deity who's like really cold and like uncaring. And they just slowly fall in love, because I think that's funny. I should do a webtoon or comic about Kingsley. I was actually debating on it. I was debating on making like a comic for Kingsley's backstory, just because I thought that would be kind of fun, but I don't know if I ever will. I have Grayson that I want to get back to at some point. And then, oh my god, can I like fix this a little bit? There we go. The camera shook and changed its angle. I've got a few things that I want to do before I ever consider like writing out a thing for him. Have I read Harikon? No. Mechanical pencils. Yeah, I'm using a mechanical pencil. I way prefer like cleaning with a mechanical pencil. I actually like working traditionally with like normal like wooden pencils more. Like I think that like sketching is a lot easier with normal pencils. But if I'm working with like a more stylized thing, or if I'm trying to work fast, I way prefer a mechanical. When I was younger, I used nothing but mechanical. Like, I refused to use anything else. It took me 2 years to understand the many features that digital art programs have, and I still don't know how masks work. Honestly, I'm a level with you. I don't really use masks anyway, so, like, I don't... I'm not 100% how I would work with them either, but, like, I know it's, like, just in case you want to, like, erase something or change something, then you, like, don't have to worry about it, like, being a permanent thing. But, like, for me, I'm like, that's why I have 200 undos, boys. Yeah, it's more like, it's funny that it's, like, at an angle, because it looks more like this to me if I just angle this up at the camera for a sec. But, like, it's, like, angled slightly downwards, so it's, like, kind of compressed for you guys, even though it's, like, perfectly fine for me. Microns are waterproof. Microns are great, you know. I was debating on working with microns to line this later. I was like, maybe I'll use like a... Because I have a micron set. I have a lot of microns. Okay, actually, what do you guys want? Because I have microns. I have like proper like lined microns. But right here, I also have acrylic ink and a dip pen. What would you rather see me line in? Would you rather me... Here, let's do a poll. I can do that, right? Yeah. Dip pen. Microns. Alright. Poll's going up. Which one do you guys want? Do you guys want, like, a dip pen? Do you guys want microns? Because I'm okay with doing either. This one might take me a little bit longer, but I also love dip pens. I love working with dipped ink. Where's the poll? It should be... It's up right now. Attention span is so poor. I mean, you can always have me in the background. That's usually what I do with my friends' streams. Oh yeah, for sure, Oz, I agree. Microns are definitely better than, like, for fine liners, for sure. I've used, like, a Copic fine liner before. All right, dip pen it is. We'll be using dipped ink. We'll be using acrylic ink to line this boy here. I love acrylic ink. I also have India as well that I love using sometimes, but like we'll use acrylic for today. I also don't know where my India inkwell is. It's somewhere around here, isn't it? Or didn't I bring it? Did I bring it back down to the basement? I don't remember. How am I doing? I'm all right. I'm really tired. I had 2 classes before this. Micron is a company. It's a company for fine liners. The thing that I'll always say about traditional work, that by comparing it to digital work, is that traditional has like a rustic feel that digital work just has never been able to replicate. So for a lot of things, I do actually prefer like the look of traditional. You'll see what I mean when it comes to, well, maybe you won't actually. It's hard to actually see unless if you've been doing it for a while. But like I find that traditional inking, traditional lining, like with a dip pen, it looks like 20 times nicer than digitally. Like digital lining is beautiful and I love digital lining, but traditional lining just has like a certain like, I don't know, it has a certain texture that digital just hasn't been able to replicate. Fine liners don't smear. Not true. Fine liners do smear. They smear if you're not careful. Any ink can smear if you're not careful. Oh yeah, this creature beside Kingsley right now is Sunny. It's his partner. It's his patron. You're not so smooth when you make lines. That's fine. It takes a lot of time to practice with line work, especially traditional line work. Like traditional line work takes a lot of practice. I'm probably gonna mess up today. Like I hope y'all know that. Like, like I love dipped ink, but I'm not actually amazing at it. So I will most likely be messing up a lot today. But like, here we go. That's the joys of traditionals. You need to accept your mistakes. All right, now there's a reason why I do like a second like pencil pass. And that's then like once I have like all of this down, like I've like done it nice and it's like dark enough and I've like etched into the paper enough, then I erase it all. So then it's easier for me to like get the ink down and then be able to just like not worry about the pencil lines being too intrusive. Because once you get the ink down, like you're not going to be able to, whoops. Once you get the ink down, you're not going to be able to erase it as easily. So it's good if you just kind of like leave an imprint for yourself. I know this is terrifying looking, but I promise you I know what I'm doing. Since when do Canadians say y'all? What do you think we sound like? Do you think that I say like, do you think that I sound like what like every media says that Canadians sound like? We literally just sound like Americans half the time. Do you really think that I'm gonna sit here and be like, oh, for sure, bud. Come on down, we'll get a Timmy's, get a double from down. Like, what do you think I'm gonna say? Like, what do you I don't have a crazy accent. Oh, we do say A a lot, yeah. I'm like, whenever I say, hi Faye, by the way. Whenever I say, like, sometimes I'll like be talking to my friends and I'll go like, oh yeah, no, for sure. And they're like, Jess, that's so Canadian. I'm like, listen, man. So I do the opacity layer for my rough sketches. Valid. There's some sentences you say that make for a review are in fact a Canadian. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is that sometimes I'll be like, I'll say something and y'all are like, Jess, that's so Canadian. I'm like, listen, man. It's because I am Canadian. This terrifies me, actually. This acrylic ink on my, like, on my desk mat. I'm actually gonna move this onto my page. just because I don't want any acrylic ink on my desk mat forever. Sorry, I'm just like moving my stuff around. I want to see how everything looks. Okay. So up here is my inkwell. Have I really used that much of my acrylic ink? I guess so, huh? I didn't realize I'd used that much. I have been wanting to get a different dip pen because this one's like a really basic one, and I'd love to have one that's like a little bit more expensive. But you don't really need anything intensely expensive. I just kind of want something nicer. You're Canadian? I thought you were an artist. So true. The secret comes out. Thought you were American. If you know, you know. Jessie gets a whole feather. Could you imagine if I got like a quill? That'd be so sick, actually. I would so draw with a quill. Sorry if I'm kind of quiet in this section because I am focusing. Like acrylic ink. Ink with a dip pen is like something that takes a bit more of my concentration. By comparison to like a micron. Also, my hand gets a little bit shakier with a dip pen, so the lines are not as clean as I'd like them to be sometimes. It's always like a 50-50 whether my lines actually turn out the way that I want them to or not. This 50-50 is not really working in my favor right now, but it's okay, I'll live. My hand would be shaking mad hard trying to do the liner with the dip pen. I am shaking so bad right now, actually. Like, I'm very rusty with it. Like, I'm not, like, amazing. So I'm trying to, like... I'm also on stream and I'm trying to converse at the same time. So do not... Like, please understand. Please understand that I am struggling. When I do small details, my hands just decide to have a seizure. True. Too bad we're already judging. It's okay. You can't judge me as hard as I judge myself. That's a fact. You sounded like a 90-year-old man. Yeah, true. Boomer core. Really struggle with traditional line work. I love traditional line work. Traditional line work is one of my favorite things ever. Ooh, that one got a little bit funky. It's okay. It's the reason I like to double up my lines. Give it that intentional shake. Sometimes it's just nice to make your lines a little messy on purpose. I kind of find it fun. Mind me as I just cry a little bit on the inside. Or the outside. Who knows? Never know what you're getting with me. Mess up lines, make a thicker line. Why do you think I work so chunky half the time? I love my chunky line art. Apologies if I'm not talking a crazy amount as I finesse this and try to figure this out. So what we are going to be doing is, like, I'm going to be finishing this one up, traditionally. And then I'll be redoing this exact same piece digitally, just to compare the two. Even though I kind of have the comparisons in my head already. Like, there's a certain, like, charm that digital, like, line work just can't replicate as well as traditional. Ah, shoot. Well. Shoot. Well, so be it, I guess. So be it, I guess. You smudge a little ink, get a little bit on your hands. That's just how it be. Yeah, digital textures still feel too polished. Exactly, exactly. It's like traditional has a certain like lack of polish that has personality. And like as much as I love digital and I will prefer digital till the day I die, like traditional is still like super super fun for me to do. Thank you. What's your opinion on cross-hatching with ink? I have a pen and that's my favorite thing to use when I do ink. I love cross-hatching. I would do it so much more if, like, I could understand how to do it with a dip pen. Like, I love it when I'm working with, like just a normal pen. I love working with just, like, ballpoint. Ballpoint's another, like, ink that I love working with. I'm just a really big fan of ink. So, like, ballpoint I love working with. And I love cross-hatching with that. It's just a lot of fun. But cross-hatching is a really fun technique. It's a really nice, like, textured technique that's just classic. It's a classic look. Look at the boy! There is the boy! Hi, Crow. Welcome in. It's my son. My 31-year-old son. Is this how I normally sketch? Yeah, this is generally how I just... Like, this line work is generally how I work. If I was, like, working on something where I didn't have, a clock on me, I would be working way slower. Like, traditionally, I am... Like, people say that I'm fast. I think I'm very, very slow when I work traditionally. Like, especially when I ink with, like, a dip pen. I think I work very, very slow. And that's just because, like, I want to slow down more when I work with ink, like especially the dip pen, because I want to get little details in there. Oops. It's fine. It's intentional. Check out Kenneth Wagner. He uses dip pen and is crazy good. Perhaps. One of my favorite artists that uses a dip pen really frequently is Stephen McGowan. He does a really, really good job. I also love his characters. Stephen McGowan is a really big inspiration for me in terms of like movement and like character design, because he does a really, really good job with that sort of stuff. Have I ever drawn... You mean body horror? Yeah, that's like half of what I do. The thing is that with body horror and horror in general, like, you'll see a lot of people do it, and it's like, for me, I feel like body horror does not equal gore. Like, it's like, everybody's like, oh, it's body horror, so that means you gotta be, like, you gotta have a lot of gore in there. No, I don't think so. I think that the most interesting body horror is ones that don't rely on gore at all, and just instead are the people who are really, really good with anatomy and can bend that scientific anatomy into something more interesting. And I think that that's, like, real good body horror. Like, you'll see a lot of people who are like, oh, I love body horror, and it's just like, oh, it's like a lot of gore and grossness and whatever. And I feel like that that's fine. Like, if you like that, that's fine, but, like, I think that that's boring and it's overdone. Like, to me, I'd much rather see, like, one of my favorite artists, she does her body horror in a way where there is no gore. Like, she's not gory at all, but, like, her anatomy is so funky and so creative. There's a really cool one where, like, there's a person and she mixed the anatomy of a person with a teapot. And you don't think, like, I've talked about on stream, like, how to mix, like, or how to use human anatomy to understand animal anatomy. But imagine using human anatomy to understand the anatomy of a teapot. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that super cool? Like, that's the stuff that I want to know. That's some really interesting, original stuff. And, like, that's the stuff that really intrigues me. Like, I would so rather see, like, somebody work like that than somebody, like, just, like, tear somebody apart and call it a day, you know? I'm very picky with horror. Your voice is so relaxing. Thank you. I feel like it's relaxing because you're picking up the energy of me being really tired. I'm sleepy. Kingsley's sleepy. Same hat, you know what I'm saying? Really do be sweepy hours. Yeah, I saw there's a D&D movie coming out. I'm so, like, of all, like, okay, he's beautiful, but Chris Pine, I don't think Chris Pine would have been my first pick for somebody to play in the D&D movie, okay? There's a lot more, like, D&D looking people. Then again, I don't really know the plot of the story. I haven't seen, like, the trailer or anything. So I don't know how it's gonna be. But if I was to pick somebody who would be in, like, a D&D setting, I feel like I would have picked, like, Jason Momoa or, like, Joaquin Phoenix. Somebody who looks a little bit more rugged. Because Chris Pine is not rugged in the slightest. Maybe even Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is right there! You know what I'm saying? A teapot, a living teapot, maybe have eyes, eats blood. No, you don't understand, okay? So, like, it's not even like it wasn't even like they just, like, gave the teapot, like, human features. It was like, they straight up, like, tore this teapot apart. It was like as if it was like a centaur. It was so cool. It was the coolest design, man. Like, I was like, this is crazy. And, like, that was a really cool one. There is one where, like, they had, like, a centaur, but it was, like, the centaur had, like, 2 human parts. It was, like, as if you mirrored half of the centaur. So, like, half of it is, like, down the middle. It was, like a centaur as if they were Siamese twins. And I think that's crazy. That was another really cool design that I loved. There was somebody who had, like, one of her designs was, like, a character who had a slug for a tongue. That was really cool. Yeah. Hello, Kay. Good morning. How was your sleep? AAA movie directors be like, which Chris am I gonna cast in my movie? For real. Yo, vouch. Actually, that's so real. Like, which Chris? Will it be Chris Pine? Chris Hemsworth? Chris Evans? Not great, but I'm vibing. Understandable. Hope you feel better, man. How are you not smudging the ink while it's still wet? The thing with acrylic ink is that acrylic ink dries really, really quick. So, like, acrylic in India dries even quicker, but acrylic dries pretty fast. So it's not too awful. I have already smudged the ink, it's just I've tried to ignore it. It also helps that I have a very bright, hot light aimed at me right now, so it's kind of like cooking the acrylic a bit. Recording the show that shall not be named in a bit. Excellent. Yes, I did hear that y'all were recording a session for that. Beautiful. Hope y'all have a good sesh. I'm assuming y'all are probably going to start around the time that this stream finishes, so. Yeah, India really does not have a smudging problem. Like, India is like it's a medium that's like really easy to not smudge. Sorry, I just gotta clean off my pen for a sec because the dip, because it like started to get gross. So it's time to replenish this in a different way. Here we are. Looks so nice. Thank you. Yeah, there's a couple of mistakes, but I do like how this looks so far. Now, the only reason I didn't use India was because I couldn't remember if it was India or if it was acrylic that was able to withstand Copic's alcohol properties. And I think it's acrylic, but I'm not 100% certain. Because I've tested it out on both. Oh, shoot. Yeah, you see? There's some smudging there now. That's okay. Just fix it a little bit. And now it looks intentional. Haha. Jokes. Oh, Kingsley? Yeah, Kingsley's me all the time. I remember hearing from one of my friends, he was like, they always say that your first D&D character is what you wish you were like, and your second one is what you're actually like. My first D&D character was not Kingsley, not the first one that I designed anyways, Caspian, and I'd probably never be drawing Caspian for the channel. I can say his name, but that's all. Kingsley is my second character. Kingsley is very much like me. In a lot of very weird ways. Drawing your character who doesn't have a name yet. Name them Quill. I like that name. What does D&D stand for? Dungeons and Dragons. It's a tabletop game. Tabletop RPG. It's the tabletop RPG. It's the very first one. Or one of the first ones, anyway. What do they look like? Caspian is a water genasi. For those of you who do play D&D, Caspian's a water genasi tiefling. It's based on an oarfish. He's a bard. Bard of glamour. See, he's just slightly not quite appropriate for this channel. You finished Stray? Bro, I finished Stray yesterday. I played the whole game in like 3 days. Yo, I bought it day of release. I almost cried at that ending, dude. I won't say what the ending was, but it's a really good game. I can't recommend it enough. Slightly. Alright, Oz. That's the cat game. Yeah, where you play as a cat. It's so good. I finished it. It's really, really good. Hey, no spoilers. Ooh, current is a tiefling cleric. Nice. My current that I'm playing as is a dragonborn barbarian. He's 8 years old and his name is Corn. Everyone here knows, or most people here know Corn at the very least. I've drawn him for stream a couple times. He's not the brightest, but he does his best. How long have I been drawing? I've been drawing for my whole life. I came out of the womb with a pencil in hand, and I immediately told my mother to pass me a pencil, or pass me a piece of paper, and I began drawing instantly. I'm kidding, but I have been drawing my whole life. It's been about 21 years. I've been drawing digitally since I was 13, so about 8 years is how long I've been working digitally, but drawing in general, it's been about 21 years. Been drawing for a very, very long time. I grew up in an artist family, so I've just always been around different types of artists. My father's a photographer. My mother used to act and sing. Never played D&D, but it's a weird coincidence that I searched for mechanics in classes and tried to understand the mechanics and stuff one day. Yeah, it's always easier to understand D&D once you actually play it. Like, for the longest time, I had never played D&D because I was like, I don't get the mechanics, I'm too lazy to read them up. And then I watched the show that shall not be named, which I now work for. And now I understand D&D pretty well. Like, I'm not, like, perfect or anything, but I understand it enough to play. D&D sounds so cool, but I don't play. It is really fun. It's really great. You should watch a show about it if you don't know, if you can't play. There's Critical Role, which is available to you. There's the show that I work for, the show that shall not be named. There's a bunch. It's not called the show that shall not be named. I just can't say the name of it on stream. Not faithfully, anyway. Okay. Sick. I think that's the lining done. Unless I missed anything. Nope, I think I'm good. Nice. Alright, I'll just leave this for a second while it dries slightly. Pathfinder 2e over D&D 5e. I don't know the difference because I've only played D&D 5e, but everybody who I have talked to has said that 5e is like the best one and the others are kind of awful. I know there's one person who I talked to and he had somebody who he met up with who was like 4e is the best one. But from what I've heard of 4e, I don't think that's the best one. Second one's made two at the same time are emotional. Half-elf sorcerer, a cheeky little rogue halfling child. Vibes. Here where I'm from, people don't know what the cool game is. I don't know where to get started set. Vibes. Oh god, 4E. I don't know. Oz Crow told me he's told. What are Kingsley's partner's pronouns? Any. They're an eldritch deity. I tend to say they. Some of my friends say she, some people say he. It literally doesn't matter. They're like a technically like a bodiless entity. And the only reason they have a physical form is because they can manifest it. It's like if I was to play as Kingsley, Sunny, his partner, would act as his familiar. Who has a bunch of different forms. .4E is funny if you like combat and nothing else. His spouse is adorable then. Thank you. Yeah, Sunny's a lot of fun to draw. Sunny has like a bajillion different forms and it's like, but I tend to draw this one the most just because it's like the one that's the most fun for me to draw. Oop, there's some areas where the ink is not completely dry. That's okay. You hear that? Hee. Stream where you correct your drawings. We've been thinking about implementing that at some point, where y'all send in some work and I critique it. We've mostly just been trying to gauge what level of harshness I should be, because I can be really mean, but I also don't really want to be that mean. I mean, like, I wouldn't mind being mean, but, like, also, you know, I wouldn't mind roasting some art. But also, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Oops. Right there, that's some smudging. Oh well, so be it. Yeah, there's some thicker areas of ink that are probably not completely dry. That's fine. I'll live. Traditional art is the art of, oh gosh, that's a mistake. Well, I guess I'll die. Oh, 451? Oh, shoot. Alright, well, gotta move quick then. It's intentional. Yeah, I'll live. It's fine. It's whatever. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's see here. What do I need? I need these two. I'll probably need this one. Oh, I don't think this one works. E25. Do you work? No, you don't. You're dead. Alright. I guess I'll take those two then. And then I for sure need these two. I need this one. These ones? Maybe. We'll see. Then I need this one. I will need this one and this one. And then... Oh, I'm gonna need this one for sure. Why is E35 all the way up there? Why do I have two E35s? Okay, I guess. Oh, and then I'll need you. Okay. I should have some others here, right? I've got the other W's. This is W2. Please tell me this is W4. W3, let's go. Do I have anything higher than W3? E40, no. What are you? W0! Yes, okay. Alright. You'll never be meaner than Reddit is, that's fair. No, but you see, like, Reddits are, like... They'll judge you, but they'll just, like, roast you. For me, it'll be, like, I'm judgy, but in a way where it's like, oh, wait, no, these are facts. Oh, shoot, okay, so it's not the acrylic that's immune. It doesn't look like anyway. Oh, yeah, acrylic isn't even close to immune. Okay, well... Shoot. Yeah, see, this is why I started on the hand first, rather than the rest of the body. Just in case, because I had a feeling it wasn't the right one. Yeah, because India... Okay, so it's India. That's the... India ink is the one that's immune to Copic markers. Not acrylic. So I'll just have to be really careful then. Because Copics are... I thought so, because I knew India art didn't sponge with Copics. I didn't want to jinx you. That's okay. I'll live. Yeah, because I remember it was one or the other, and I never remember which one. I should really write that down somewhere. I should, like, get a piece of, like, masking tape and just put it over the bottle. Just not Copic immune. Copic immune. So I'm just, like, very delicately avoiding all the lines right now. Smoothly, thank you. Kingsley seriously gives me DM for chaotic players vibes. He's actually, Kingsley is lawful good. He's not really a, or not lawful, sorry. He's neutral good. He's not very chaotic. He can be, but very rarely. He's a good boy. At first, I thought about making him chaotic good, but I didn't. Corn is chaotic good. And then another character of mine, Rye, that I just made, they're, chaotic neutral, I'd like to think. Not chaotic? No. Kingsley's very... Oh, Corn is incredibly chaotic. No. Corn is chaotic. Corn's chaotic good. He's also a little bit dumb, so... My boy is not the brightest. Oh, I forgot a pink. Well, that's my bad. It's okay. I'll grab that later. sweating. I'm so scared. Like, I'm always like I hate it with the ink smudges, so I'm just like being like super careful right now. Because to be fair, Micron smudge as well, so they're not like perfect in terms of like Copics. They're really good. Like, they don't smudge much, but they do still smudge, so I'd have to be careful with them anyway. Jessie, do the voice for Corn? Why? You gotta give me a line or something to reply with. I can't just do it, like, speaking. Yeah, Corn is one of my, D&D characters. Corn Chip is his name. And we got tips on drawing faster digitally. It takes hours digitally for me. We can start to 30 minutes traditionally. You gotta learn how to, like... Well, A, you gotta practice. If you can already work really fast traditionally, then that's just a matter of practice at that point. Only it wasn't the middle of the night. This is why we work traditionally. It's always good to have a little sketchbook that you can work with. You can work digitally as well. Like, you can just draw on your phone or something. It's always good to find different mediums to work with. Oh, this is a good technique. If I just, like, stipple, that doesn't really affect the ink as much, but it does affect the ink, I've just noticed. So you just gotta be careful with it. Just don't smudge. Yo, Jess, why didn't you touch any of the lines while you were working? Fear. I don't know how people draw on their phones for real. I know I'm not the only one who plans people's responses to literally everything I say. I only do that if I'm, like, going to an interview, which I haven't done in a really long time. Unless you're talking about DMing, then I've never DM'd something before, but I'd love to try. Okay, larger area. I can be a little bit quicker here. It's like the only reason I'm not moving fast is because I'm like, I'm gonna smudge the ink. If I do. So far, they've been very, very light colors, so I'm like just being very, very hesitant with a lot of it. This is also not proper marker paper. I'm working on watercolor paper, which also does like work pretty well, but not perfectly by comparison to the marker paper that I actually have. I just can't find it. I don't know where it went. Oof. I'm so scared. You know what? At least now that I've done it for a stream, I'll never forget that acrylic is not the one that I use with Copics. Because now that I've done it for a stream, I'll like know. We stand sea slugs, so true. I'm a very big fan of like the one that looks like a rabbit. The rabbit sea slug, but I also love the blue dragon sea slug, like the blue angel. It's a great time. Invertebrates for days. Any of y'all touched a sea cucumber before? They feel great. Those things, so soft. Love them all. So true, Zesty. That's so close to me going like, that's so true, bestie. This is a nice dark marker, so I don't need to worry about smudging that much. It won't be that visible. My setup is so scuffed. Like right now, like you can't see it, and I'm not gonna show it to you. But my setup is so scuffed right now. It is literally like things are balanced at the edges of other things right now. Hang on, I need a different marker. I thought I grabbed everything. Ever seen a bristle star? I feel like I have. That name is super familiar. Show it? No. I also can't because it's my camera. Like, it's my camera that's super scuffed right now. It's like, it is... it's like on a gorilla tripod, and it's like balancing on my tablet that is like shoved to the side. Because where this is right now is where my tablet would normally be. So everything is kind of shoved off to the side. Like my keyboard is over here on the... It's over on this side on the left. My mouse is over here. This is what my mouse looks like, by the way, just because I want to show it off. It's so nice. It's a custom. She's so pretty, but... And then my phone is over here, and I've got like a glass of water, and like... Oh my god, it's 5 o'clock. Okay. I'm so slow traditionally. I'm so slow. Okay, come on. I would have been done this by now if I was working digitally. Oh, baby alligators are super cute. I love them. Mouse looks epic. Thank you. Instead of that, they just happen randomly now. Oh no, YouTube did do. Okay, if you get cramps in your hand, guys, make sure that you are doing a good amount of hand exercises. Like if you draw for long periods of time, hand exercises, you're gonna want to do those religiously. Like, first of all, they feel really good. Second of all, it's like, it's good for your wrist. So you don't get arthritis when you're like 22. Like, I can draw for very long periods of time, but that's like, I very regularly do wrist exercises. I very regularly just kind of like sit back and try to like chill, especially if I'm working in a more intense way. Like right now I'm working in a very chill kind of like, I'm not really rushing or anything, so I'm just kind of like vibing. But like in more intensive, like speedy situations, I've had exams where I've had to draw in a specific amount of time or like work in a specific amount of time. Like in those ones, it's like I'm very regularly, very constantly doing hand exercises, wrist exercises. Important stuff. Jessie's a halfway point. I know, I know. I'm trying to like... We don't really do the midway read, by the way, Drew. We don't really do the midway ad read anymore. But like I am just struggling to just get this all done. Because it is midway, and that's what I said. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'll probably have the traditional one done by midway. For sure, bud. Ain't happening, though. I'm actually grabbing a bit of the acrylic ink to give it a bit more, like a heftier shadow, because this marker is not doing the job. This is called using the faults of the material to your strengths. I've done this with watercolor, I can do it with acrylic. I can do it with Copics too. Let's go. We're all good then. Ugh. cute. Thank you. I don't draw nearly enough to get cramps anymore, but there was a time when I was drawing traditionally and my pinky finger went numb. Oh dear. That's not epic. I grabbed one for Sunny, didn't I? Like, this is like E11. I should have had like another E something here. Another better E. No? Okay, I guess. Oh, I have a E double zero here. This is like a normal Copic though. It's gonna smell awful. Okay, fine, I guess. Normal Copics smell so awful to me now. Like, I'm like, why is it so strong? Because Copic chows are like almost scentless. It's like anything more than scentless is so awful to me. And these big wide areas I have to like finesse to work out. I'm just like, God, it brings out the scent even more. It's so awful. Oh, I don't really care. Here's the thing, right? With timers, like, I don't mind being timed with my art. Like, I quite like it. I love the challenge. I'm a big fan of challenges. So, like, any kind of, like, timing or, like, any kind of, like, time crunch, I'm totally fine with. I'm a really big fan of that, actually, because then it's, like, to me, it helps me push me to get faster. And, like, that's the #1 thing that I want to get better at is, like, to be faster. Like, like, if you think that I'm fast, I want to get faster than this. Like, I don't want to just... Like, I don't think that I've peaked. I think I can get faster. So I'm always, oh shoot. I'm just always on a journey to get faster, you know? Because I think, like, where I'm at right now is alright, but, like, I can get better. I do get the sentiment, though, that, like, like, sometimes, like, time crunches are there to, like, that they, like, hurt your work. I definitely get that in some cases. I do think that, like, you shouldn't, like, especially if you're working for the industry, I don't think that it should be, like, oh, you have, like, an infinite amount of time to work on something. Right? I think that, like, at some point you're gonna have to learn to get faster, to crunch at least a little bit, even if it's, like, just a little bit. Right? You shouldn't be crunching all the time. Like, that's not healthy at all. Crunches are not a thing that you should be doing very regularly, but... You know. Speed. You gotta get faster. You can't spend... Like, it's one thing to slow down, it's another thing to just take forever on something, you know? Do I have a favorite anime? My favorite anime, See, I don't really have a favorite anime. I have a favorite manga. I can't say my favorite manga, but I can say my second favorite, which is Full Metal. Full Metal Alchemist was so good. But I can't say my favorite one because it is not even close to PG. Jessie, are you gonna save the live like the other ones? This is kind of in our process of class, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, no, we save every single live stream gets saved. Every single live stream is available afterwards on the channel. And then lovely Daria is the one who timestamps them and makes sure that they're easy to follow for you afterwards. Everybody say thank you, Daria, for making our lives easier. The only style I can draw on is traditionally. That's fine. If you prefer one over the other, that's totally fine. Like, I prefer digital over traditional. I like to work in both. Like, I don't mind working in both, but it is good to work in, like... It is good to work with both. But if you prefer one over the other, that's totally fine. Like, everybody has a preference, I think. What I'm not okay with is people going like, oh, one is better than the other and you should never work on the other one. Like, that's not cool. But if you, like, prefer one over the other, totally fine. Like people just have preferences, dude. Both take practice. Both are difficult in their own ways. It's just if you decide to stick with one or the other, you know? Hey, I made it. Hey, Netro, welcome in. Oh, I think that's good for the traditional one. All right, let's move on. I should be able to do the digital one really fast though, which is the upside. Non-digital, I know, Ian, isn't it crazy? Hey, welcome in. I am just about finished the traditional one though. I forgot his ring. Oh shoot. You see this? This is what you can do if you like need to refill your marker, because I'm using the chisel side. That's fine. As long as it's got ink. Thank you. Alright, let me just move all these out of this way. I will put these properly back later. For now, they'll just lie on my bed. Alright, but there you go. Let me aim this in properly so you can see it a bit better. That's what it looks like traditionally. There's the traditional one. Woo-woo! Yeah. Oh, hour and 13 minutes. Not too bad, but that took way too long. Alright. That means we can switch to that real quick. Let me move this over to the side. Let me turn off this ring light. Oh my god. Ugh, so bright. Sick. So now let's do the same piece, but digitally. So let me just get set up here for a second. We're working in Clip Studio today. No, I didn't mean to. No. Let's actually make this 4,000. Nice. CSV home turf, yeah. Because we worked in Photoshop last week, it's CSP time. Oh shoot, it's fine. My tablet is like... There we go. Nice, alright. Start painting, let's do this. The one drawing platform I could not figure out. I'm still stand by the fact that Clip nor Photoshop are beginner friendly at all. Like, I think that they're amazing programs. They're really great programs, but like, I don't think either of them are beginner friendly. Yeah, digitally I can work a lot faster with because it's like I don't have like the fear of like messing up. I can just like hit undo and everything's fine again. So like already I'm like way faster than like how I was working like traditionally. Sorry, I have like the piece over here. Let me just actually just put this over here so I can see it a bit better. I just need to reference it while I work. I also can resize and I can move stuff around. It's just, it's very like digital by comparison to traditional is just very forgiving. So it's like I'm not as scared I'm not as scared to mess up with digital as I am with traditional, I suppose. I am speed. I am speed indeed. The save your undo button for real, right? I've always found that it's better to not rely on your, like, it's good to have, like, to build up a way where you don't have to rely on your undo as much. But it is there for you to use, and use it well. Clips dropping frames for me a little bit. You okay? You don't usually do this. Is it because I'm streaming? You're shy? You don't want me to stream you as much? Yeah, it does. See, I'm already online. It's a lot faster. Let's use my... Yeah, because the rough inker doesn't work as nicely in Clip as it does on Photoshop, but I'll still use it. Because I feel like it'll be just fine. Traditional is more comforting. It's more familiar, I guess. That's fair. Yeah. It's very much like... It's up to you, right? It's whatever you prefer. Like, some people prefer digital, some people prefer traditional. I am... Like, I too get that. Like, traditional has a comfort. Absolutely. Like, it's like, I love traditional line work so much. And, like, I love coloring with marker, and I love working with ink. I've started to love oil paints as well. Those have become very, very fun for me. But yeah, no, it's a different, like, it's different. It's different for both. I blinked and she's already doing line art. Yeah, when I say that I am fast with digital, especially now that I'm, like, kind of warmed up as well. Like, digital is, like, I think that I'm so slow with traditional. I remember doing a gouache painting and, like, it took me like maybe 4 hours, and I sat there once I finished and I was like, man, I could have done this whole piece in like 15 minutes on the computer. Oh, flip your canvas, true. I would be flipping my canvas more. If I wasn't trying to work 20 times faster. It's gotten to a point where sometimes I don't really need to flip my canvas as much. Definitely have stabilization turned on for this. Yeah, Jaffi's pretty cool. I watch them sometimes. Having symmetrical art. I feel like symmetry in art, like, symmetry is fine, but I think that, like, it makes it feel too robotic when it's perfectly symmetrical. I'd much rather have an asymmetrical piece. Bad at colors is why I use values instead. When I see a colored painting, so look at it for 5 minutes and do the "this is beautiful" meme from Gravity Falls. True. Colors are like, you just need to know. We have a video on colors coming up. I think we've got like an advanced palettes video coming up. Colors are not that bad as long as you can kind of like learn your palettes. Like, if you have values down, you're already halfway there. Now it's just understanding how colors work together is all. Yeah, a lot of digital. With digital, there's a lot of different effects that you can add on art pieces along with detailed colors lines. Traditional looks more real, is more practical. I wouldn't say it's more practical. I would say that it has more of that real feeling, though. I get what you mean by that. It's like, I wouldn't say that it's more practical, though. In terms of practicality, I do think that digital is more practical, because it's like, it's faster, it's easier to work with, it's like, it's more portable, it's less costly, right? Like digital is like, the reason why so many artists switch to digital is because it is more practical than traditional, right? By comparison to having to lug around like a lot of paints everywhere, a lot of like pens and markers, and always having to constantly rebuy stuff if it like runs out, right? In the long run, digital is 20 times cheaper than traditional is. Right? Like, you buy a tablet once, and if you use a free program, then you never have to buy a program. So max, like, minimum amount, like, some tablets are super cheap. Minimum amount you're spending is like $30, and that thing will, like, those things will last you for a long, long time. I wish I could do that. Getting the right skin color would be amazing. Skin tones are actually a lot easier than you think. So let me just grab this color wheel for a sec. Your skin tones will be somewhere around here to here. Like, you'll never get much lighter in yellow than this. You'll never get much darker in orange than, like, around here-ish, right? And generally, you want to stay in, like, this bubble right here. And you're good with skin tones. So it's kind of this center area, and you don't really want to move out of here. I'd actually hesitate in going here. It's more like this. It's more like this is kind of where you want to stay in terms of skin tones. And then you're generally good from there. Can I move this over? There you go. Unnatural skin tones, you can go crazy. Unnatural skin tones, you can go crazy. There are no rules for unnatural skin tones. The only issue with working with unnatural skin tones is that natural skin tones are all neutrals. So anything can go with it. Unnatural skin tones is not the case. So if you have somebody with like blue skin, then you're working with a blue palette. You're working with a palette that can work with blue, because blue is not a neutral. Yeah, I have a character with blue skin. One of my, another one of my D&D characters. Their name is Rye. They're a water genasi artificer. You prefer hard lines for shading digitally or soft blended lines? I'm having trouble figuring out what I like for my style. It's a mix. So I always find that if you want a more realistic style, you have to use both. Realistic shadows will have a mix of soft blended lines and hard edge lines. This is something that not a lot of people will say. So like, you'll never have just one or the other with realistic shading. So I tend to like both. Cell shading is what I'm going to be doing today, just because it's a lot faster. But with painting, like, I find that I like a more realistic finish. So I like to have a blend of both. Let me actually pull out one of those. So like, I have an old piece that I did for a class a bit ago. '22? Was it winter? No, was it spring? Yes. Right, so you kind of want a mix of your hard edge shadows and soft edge shadows, right? You have some hard edges there, and then it slowly fades away, right? You got some harder edges here, you got some harder edges up here, right? You need to have a mix of both in order to have a nice realistic-ish surface at the very least. You kind of want to blend with both a soft shade and a hard shade. But really, it's up to you, whatever aesthetic you prefer. Cell shading, C-E-L, is when you shade hard edges. Like, there's no... Here, let me pull out an old, like a newer piece that I literally just did. Actually, no. Let's pull out an older one. Cell shading is like this, where the edges are all... Nope, these ones are soft. I thought this was all cell. I guess not. Okay, hang on. Hang on. I got one. Somewhere around here. There we go. So a cel-shaded piece is when all of your edges are really hard. There's no blending to deal with it. So it's like you've got a lot of hard edges by comparison to actually blending it in. This is a very cartoony way of shading, so this is the way that I like shading more often than not. But if I'm painting, then I like a mix of both. How easy is it drawing on your 13-inch? I drew on my 15.6 laptop touchscreen. It feels a bit cramped for me with all the menus and sidebars. I've gotten, like, I'm fine with it. I feel like because I have huge monitors and, like, it's just, like, what you see on my monitor right now is what my, is what it looks like on my tablet. I think I've also just gotten used to it. Like, I'm kind of used to a smaller surface. Not everybody likes, or not everybody uses, really large surfaces. I know some professionals who use like a 5-inch tablet and they love that. Not 5-inch, sorry, like a 10-inch, like super small. What happened to Mara? Oh, I was thinking of doing a cyberpunk AU. I've been thinking about it for a long time, Marlene. Like, I've been wanting to like really delve into a cyberpunk AU. In that one, it's like Mara's got like a lot of holograms, and that's what he uses for summons, and he uses like these hologram things to like also do his wild shape. Socks is a cyborg rather than just a werewolf, so it's like you kind of got the blend of that. I've been wanting to work on it for so long, I just have not had time. I actually have a little bit of time now, but like maybe one day. I've got other things I want to do first. The number of AUs, yeah. Listen, man, the cyberpunk was one of the first ones that I ever thought of. It's just I never acted upon it. Corn in a cyberpunk universe? My boy would do so well in a cyberpunk universe. As in, he would do so poorly. Fun to write, though. Art books or art YouTubers. If you want a really good one with anatomy, iBunny, you should get Morpho. Morpho's a really, really good book that explains anatomy in a really simple way. I don't actually watch that many art YouTubers. I watch a lot of, like, artists who are not illustrators. Like, I love watching other types of artists work because I feel like that gives me a different kind of inspiration. Oh, I'm sorry. No, Mara is a character from the show that shall not be named that I work for. He's a wood elf druid, Circle of Stars. Subscriptions. Let's see here, because this channel is not my channel. Thalasso Hobbier, that's a diorama artist, is somebody that I watch. Emily Ina is an illustrator who I watch. Hanabira, that's a diorama artist. Viewn, V-E-W-N, that's an animator. Natorix is another really good illustrator. Lumpy Touch, pixel artist. Terminal Montage animator. Delightful, doll artist. I really don't watch that many artists. I really don't. But yeah. Mark Brunet has some good videos as well, yeah. Yeah, it's well, like, they're all visual artists. It's just like I like to get inspiration from different kinds of visual artists, just because if I stick with illustrators and that's one medium that I'm restricting myself to. And I find that like if I had to pick an artist that knows the most, it's doll artists. Like, doll artists know so much. I've gone on my doll artist rant before, but like doll artists are like concept artists and costume artists and like illustrators and sculptors. They can do like everything. They're painters. They're just really, really good artists all around because they have to be really creative and be good at, like, everything. Body blushing is a technique that I got from doll artists. So it's, like, the one that I watch the most, Delightful, she's also, like, she was once a game concept artist. So she has that under her belt as well. So she's got, like, a bit of insight into how, like, proper character concept art and background concept art works. And she sometimes talks about, like, the theory that she learned in art school and whatnot. I think that's really cool. Thank you. It's a nice and simple style for today, just as I try and work a bit faster. Oh boy, it's 5:31. Let's speed up just a smidge. I should be able to finish, it's not too bad. I just probably won't be able to really do this in a way where it's like super clean. Cheat with rulers and guidelines. That's not cheating, it's just using what's available to you. But yes, use rulers, use guidelines. But also, it's like, if you want, like, really nice, smooth lines, the faster you move your wrists, the better your lines will look, because it doesn't pick up your handshake. Traditionally, it's a little bit tougher to do that, because, like, you know, you do it once, you mess up, right? You mess up once, you mess up the whole thing. But with digital, you know, you have your undos. So eventually, if you just kind of learn how to work with that, it gets easier. Are you left-handed, right-handed, or ambidextrous? I am right-handed. I find it's a good exercise to work with your non-dominant, though. If you have a non-dominant. Sometimes it's good. It's fun just to do for fun. Like, it's good just to do for fun. That's a thing I forgot to do. I draw them sleepy a lot, now that I think about it. Sleepy, Sunny, and Kingsley is a thing that I draw very frequently, now that I think about it. I know that that's gonna select in there, that's fine. Oops. Why can't I just change the color of it right then and there? Ah, I don't have my palette. Alright, well, I guess I gotta work by eye, or I could just pull up my Kingsley reference. I could just do that too. Because I do have that still. Alright, where's my boy? There he is. Alright. I'm so glad that CSP does this windowed thing too. Like, some programs just can't do this, and it annoys me to no end. I'm like, what do you mean I can't just pull out the window and work from there? Did I finish the traditional? Yeah, I finished the traditional part. I finished it a bit earlier. I'm working on the digital now because I finished the traditional portion. So I did this piece once completely traditionally, and I'm doing it again now completely digitally. I should make a colored reference for Sunny, because I actually don't have one of those. Photoshop palette. No, I made a new one. I exported them immediately now, too. But yeah, no, I don't have, it's not imported to CSP. I don't think I can import it to CSP. And I'm not about to just re-pick all the colors either. It's not happening. I like having my dedicated palettes. Crying. Yeah, I tried to get an Adobe product totally, completely legally, and it broke my entire Photoshop, so... It's funny, because I had like a limited amount of colors when working traditionally, so like the colors that I have on like the traditional piece are gonna be super different compared to these. Because it's not like I just have an infinite amount of colors. That's another upside to digital, is you basically have an infinite amount of colors. Traditional, you don't have that. Like you're limited to whatever you have, and if you can mix it, then that's great, but sometimes you just can't. I think digital art is hard. I don't have a digital pencil. Oh yeah, that'll make it hard for sure. What do I think about art Discord servers? I'm not in one other than the Wing Canvas one. It's great if you find a Discord server that you're... Why am I doing this traditionally? I can literally just... Oh god. Preferred other layers, thank you. Why was I doing that normally? Why was I just... Why was I... Anyway. Like if you find a community that you're really happy to be part of, and you really like being in there, that's great. But I can do this differently. Oh, whoops. Something like that for a second. I do love CSP's coloring. They do got a good paint bucket. Photoshop's paint bucket, kinda not it. Like it works, but like barely. What weapon am I using? I am using CSP currently. Do you have any tips on making something creepy? A smile is scarier than a grimace. Human teeth will always be scarier than sharp teeth. Gore is never the scariest thing you can ever draw. Find horror in the mundane. You will do so much better with your work if you stop relying on gore to make your stuff scary. Because I will say it once and I'll say it a million times. My stabilization's at 0? Really? Why is it so, like... Why are you handling like this then? I find that people when people first start doing horror, they rely on gore way too much, and I find that kills their work. It's like you rely on slasher to make your stuff scary, and I think that gets so boring. If you want to strike fear into people, gore is not where it's at. Think of some of the scariest, like, games you can ever think of, right? Some of the most terrifying games. One of the most terrifying games of our generation is PT Silent Hill, which was a playable teaser, and it wasn't released because the game was too scary. That playable teaser had, it had some, but a lot of the fear didn't come from the gore. It came from the suspense. And it came from the fact that you didn't know what was coming, right? That's the terrifying bit about it. So if you want something actually legitimately scary, don't rely on your core. Both struggles are real felt. Alright, I got 19 minutes left. Yeah, I can finish this easy. Where is the clipping again? It's one of these ones. Clips layer. There we go. Beautiful. Let's change this to multiply. And let's switch to a texture brush so it's not. There we are. Oh, let's just do that. There we go. You're a bit too stabilized today. I didn't even try to stabilize you. You just ended up like this. Oh. Oops. Where's my color history? Thank you. CSP's clip, like, color history, so extensive. I wish I could change how many there were in Photoshop. Like, generally Photoshop's is fine, but I wish that it had, like, maybe not as many as this, but... but, like, maybe a good, like, 20 of them, rather than, like, the like, 8 that I get. 8 or 10. The history states, though, marvelous. Seeing people scream and seeing them run from something can deliver the fear on its own. That's true. But I also, like, think that relying on loud noises is also a thing that people rely on too much. But yeah, just not knowing what's happening, having no idea what's going on is very terrifying. Any tips for drying hair? Keep it loose. Keep your wrist loose. Try not to control the shape as much. You're better off, what's it called? Treat your hair like ribbons. Treat it like, treat it like flowing water. Make sure you understand where your hair is growing from. I broke that rule with Kingsley. I just decided to give him anime boy hair. I was like, yep, we're just giving you hair that is nonsense. Oz, I've started saying nonsense because of you. I hope you're proud of yourself. Jump scares super overrated, Zesty. 100%. Yeah, they aren't the way to go. You can have some. But you need to make sure that your jump scare has meaning behind it. Like, you can't just, like, oh, I'm gonna jump scare you every 5 seconds. Like, if you're gonna have a jump scare, make it meaningful. Like, I always use PT as an example. It's, like, my favorite horror game. PT has, like, I think, like, 1 jump scare. And it is terrifying. Because you're just, it's nothing but suspense until that 1 jump scare. And then you've lost, you're, like, you feel yourself jump out of your skin. Because it's just, everything else is just suspense. And you're just like, oh! Like, you feel that, like, jump scare in your bones, for real. But yeah, with digital, right, like, I don't have to pick out different colors for, like, my shadows. I can just, like, I can grab, like, a color and work with it. Because I can just change the layer style to multiply. Very, very forgiving. Clip it on there. I don't have to worry about coloring outside the lines because of layer locks. Just digital's really, really practical. It doesn't have the same energy, I suppose, as traditional does. But it's very, very forgiving. think that might have been when Dan gave up on continuing the Game Grump playthrough. Oh yeah, PT, they gave up completely. Game tropes. Basically, you have your character get a painting, a photo of them, and later on in the game, you have your character go back to this picture and someone was added. Oh, that's a fun one. That's very, very subtle. I've seen that maybe done like once or twice. It's not very popular, and I think that it works in its favor. Oh, I'm glad that you were inspired by me. Yes, more artists. The world needs more. The uprising. We are important. We are legion. I literally get so stoked when like my friends are like, I'm gonna try art again. And they come in, they show me their work. It's the best. I'm like, yes! Draw! Draw more! Art! I love seeing my friends' artwork. I've gotten some of my friends to pick up drawing for the first time, or like the first time in a long time. And it makes me so happy. I'm like, yes! More artists! Take over the world! Alright, I need a new layer for lighting as well. We've got about 12 minutes left. We've got tons of time. Easy. See, digital art is just so much faster for me. Like, I've been able to do so much more in less time. I tend to like to blush the face a bit, gives it a bit more life. By comparison to just keeping it the same shade or the same tone throughout. Gives it a bit of extra life. No, keep that opacity up. I want to turn down the brush size. Thank you. I feel like this dude right now. Yeah, I feel like we all feel like Kingsley in this moment. Like felt, to be honest. Can you make it look so easy? I've done this a bajillion times. It is second nature for me at this point. I think of it this way, right? We've been doing streams for a really long time. We've been doing well, not a really long time, but we've been doing streams for a few years. And I have, like, been doing, like, kind of the same process for streams over and over. And I always have a 2-hour time limit. So, like, for me, it's just, like, I'm like, oh, yep, it's time to practice, getting faster again. You know? I've kind of memorized where to put everything. I have like a set way to work, you know. Who would you recommend for good coloring tutorials? Kind of desperate. Mark Brunet is really good with color. Cynics is pretty good with color as well. Cynics Designs. Emily Yena is really good with they're not really tutorials. Her work isn't really a tutorial, but it's a lot of speed paints. Her work is crazy good. Emily Yena. But yeah, I mean, I got my coloring from university, so I like... And also just general, like, practice and observation. I should have checked this. I should have been checking this. Oh, hey, not too bad. It could have been a bit better, but that's fine. Smooth. No worries. What did I just do with the purple? Oh, okay, so this is my shading layer. It's right now it says a multiply layer. That's what type of layer it is. If it's put on normal, then it just looks like purple because it's just one straight color. But like if I added another color to it, like I made sure that I switched it back to normal to blend it back in. Like if I didn't, then like I can't really blend it in as well. Like I still can, but it's like I have less control. So I tend to like to switch it back to normal so I know what I'm doing and I can see what I'm looking at. Actually, I do need to clean up the hair a little bit. Get a little bit of dimension, a bit of warmth in there. It's just the little things. 90% of art is final touches. Like, I promise you that. Yeah. Recently started to take art seriously. I don't pronunciate that word, but oh my god, I've improved way more in 6 months and 5 years. Yeah, it's always like, you gotta take your art a little bit more seriously if you really want to have some intense improvement. Like, it's never necessary for you to take your art seriously. Like, there is nothing stopping you from just going, like, yeah, I'm just choosing not to, like, there's nothing stopping you from going, I'm just choosing not to, what's it called? I'm choosing not to take this as seriously as other people are, which is totally fine. Like, what you want to do with your work is so up to you. Like, if you'd rather, like, just do this all for fun, not have any, like, obligations or anything, like, you'd rather just kind of do art for fun, do it as a hobby, totally, dude. Do it up. Have fun. Like, some of us are professionals, but not everybody else. Not everybody is. So, like, it's totally cool if you'd rather not do your work professionally, you know? Yeah, I'm just adding small gradients to the color, gives it a bit more dimension. Then I can lock this. I can change the line color a little bit. Give it more dimension, right? There's a lot more editing that you can do and effects that you can do digitally by comparison to traditionally. And like, obviously traditional work is still beautiful, it's still amazing, it's still great. But it's just, you have more freedom. You have more choice with digital work. Which is why I tend to like it more. Whichever you prefer, like, that's up to you. That's totally up to you. Thank you. I'm doing my best. I know no fish anatomy, so drawing a mer shark will be fun. You don't need to know fish anatomy to draw mermaids. All you gotta do, mer people, all you gotta do is just know your people anatomy. Understand where the hips should connect to the tail. You're all good from there. You can see, like, how different. How much time difference there is with me working digitally versus traditionally. I've done so much more digitally. Like, I have no qualms with traditional, none at all. It's just I way prefer working digitally. Oh no, let's do this like in a different way. Let's have this like that, and then let's do this. Ugh, scaling is nonsense. Okay, let's do this again. There we go. Cute. Been trying to get into digital more. Yeah, it's fun. I first started getting into digital when I was about 13, so I've been doing it for about 8 years now. And like, I remember when I first tried it, I was super confused because I was like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was having so much fun. I didn't care. I was like, dude, I was like, I have no clue what I'm doing, but this is awesome. They're so cute. I miss them. Where's the blur? Oh, wait, is this locked? Of course it is. Okay, let's try that again. Blur, Gaussian blur. Oof, that preview takes a while to do. This kind of like helps the line work look a little bit more dreamy. If you add like a blurred, if you copy your line work, blur it, and then lower the opacity, look at that difference. It gives it like a nice kind of like glow. It gives it a bit of a softer look, which I'm a fan of. I tried digital and then put it down for half a year. It didn't click at first. Now I can't switch back. Felt. You rarely use a lot of layers for this one. Yeah, I wanted to kind of do a fun one where I used a little bit more layers and effects. Like usually if I'm doing a full completed piece, this is about as many layers as I'll have. Let's do a pink. Let's do a warm pink. What do you mean? Fine. I want pink. I love pink. Background painting is most difficult for me. Do you have any tips for a beginner? I have trouble blocking out shapes. See, usually like when you see people do like background painting or like painting in general, like they're always like, you gotta block out the shapes first, and then you can paint on top of that. See, I don't do that. I like sketch everything out, and then I plan out all of my colors, and then I just blend it. I merge it all and blend it. I have a very traditional way of digital painting, so it's not anything like it's not anything like what like proper digital artists would do. I just like, which is why it's like I say like it's good to have both digital and traditional roots. So it's like I use a very traditional way of painting and I use a very digital way of illustrating. I like pink too. I love pink. But all right. That's 6 o'clock, y'all. Thank you so much for joining for this stream. How do I do this outro again? I don't remember. It's I never remember every week. If you're new to the channel, haven't been here too often, never been to Wing Canvas, never seen us that much, we are not just a YouTube channel, we're also an art studio. I am not the one who owns this channel, I'm just the streamers. If you'd like to check out our classes, we have classes on wingcanvas.com. Currently camp is going on. I just finished week 1 of comics and manga, so I've been teaching comics to a bunch of kids. So we're going to be working on illustrating next week. So right now it was just the theory of comics, so now we're going to be moving on from there. So we've got all those going on. If you want this piece and the traditional one, both of them will be available as JPEGs on our Discord. If you'd like to join the Discord, check out all of our other social media, hang out with some other art nerds, hang out with some other people. It'll be a great time. It'll be a great epic time. You'll be able to chat with me sometimes. You'll be able to chat with others and see the JPEGs for everything on there. But if you'd like my working files, if you'd like class recordings, anything like that, you're gonna have to join our Patreon. Our Patreon is where you'll, minimum $5 a month, you'll be able to see some of my working files, see some of our class recordings, see how the Wing Canvas Studio handles classes and teaches its lessons. Next week, all right, let's see. What's next week? Next week is hair. We're gonna be talking about hair next week. Oh, topical. So we're gonna be doing a hair lesson next week. We're gonna be talking about how to draw hair, how to make it natural, how to make it fun. So we're gonna be talking all about how to draw hair, different types. I'll come up with a lesson for that. And that is what will be happening then. But yes, thank you so much for joining, everyone. I'll see y'all next week. Au revoir. Bye-bye.